right, thanks for being there this morning on your program Issues in the News, where we will take a look at major highlight stories across the country. This morning, some of the highlights we should be considering, we should be able to look at both accident claims 20 in Rivers State. Round up, we'll look at chieftaincy title, Uba slams Soludo for suspending monarch, and of course this Tinubu Mons Baba Dini of Lagos. Better Edu, Afenifere demands thorough probe. Federal government must identify those behind Plateau killings, Catholic Archbishop. And this how S-men caught my arms. A 60-year-old Gombe, a gate man, is saying his own side of the story. Shaibu kicks as Edo PDP leaders endorse Ighodalo. Lecturers' parents reject drug test for Bauchi varsity students, and this stabbed South Korean opposition leader seeks end to politics of hatred. And of course, we have this again. Board members lament 953 abandoned NDDC projects in Rivers. And of course, Kogi lawmakers lament rising kidnap robbery cases. After this time out, we'll bring you details of some of these stories. Please stay tuned. All right, about 20 persons, including children, are feared dead in a boat accident that occurred along the Donny-Boni coastal waters in Rivers State. Though the details of the incident are still sketchy, as of the time of filing this report, the accident involved two passenger boats plying the roads. Most of the victims were said to be from Ungo Town, Achaba and Isama communities in the Andoni local government area of the state. Both accident claims 20 in Rivers State. And from there we'll look at this. Chieftaincy title, Uba slams Soludo for suspending monarch. Yes, the senator representing Anambra South, Ifeanyi Uba, has reacted to the suspension of the traditional ruler of Nene in the Anambra local government area of Anambra State, Igwe Damian Ezeani. Ezeani was suspended by the Anambra State government through the State Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, and that was on Monday. The suspension letter signed by the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, Tony Collins, accused the monarch of not seeking clearance from the state government before bestowing titles on people, including persons with questionable character. The monarch, during the Yuletide, conferred on Oba the title of Odenijiniji of Nene, which is similar to the title the state governor, Professor Chukuma Soludo, also holds in his Usofia community. But in his reaction to the suspension of the monarch, Oba, in a statement, said the entire game is all about politics. Soludo is frustrated by my rising popularity. According to him, he said, and I quote, "I'm not the only person that received a chieftaincy title. Former Chief of Army Staff Tuko Buratai was honored within the same period. Vice President Kashim Shettima was also honored. Mr. President was honored in absentia. Why is my own different?" End of quote. And that's coming from Uba. If you look at the headline there, it says chieftaincy title, Uba slams Soludo for suspending monarch. And on Better Edo, Afenifere demands thorough probe. We'll look at the report. The Yoruba socio-political group Afenifere has called on President Bola Tinubu not to spare anyone in the probe of the financial dealings in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. This is in the wake of the suspension on Monday of Better Edo as minister over the alleged 585 million naira scandal. The suspended minister was said to have asked that the fund meant for payment of grants to vulnerable groups in Akwa Ibom, Lagos, Cross River, Ogun State be paid into private accounts. Edo's predecessor, Shadia Farouk, is also under probe for allegedly laundering over 37 billion naira during her tenure in office through a contractor, James Okwete. In a statement by Afenifere National Organizing Secretary, Kole Omololu, the group said it was concerned about these corruption revelations, urging Tinubu to order a thorough investigation. Afenifere further emphasized the need to conduct the investigation without any interference or bias while ensuring a fair and just process. It noted that the president must show a resolve to eradicate corruption, which they said is a significant barrier to our nation's development. And that is coming as well. Betta Edo, Afenifere demands thorough probe. Federal government must identify those behind Plateau killings. Catholic Archbishop, the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Alfred Martins, has urged the federal government to identify the perpetrators and sponsors of the recent killings in Plateau State and other parts of the country. He said President Bola Tinubu's action against the evildoers would prove that they are not being shielded and show that the battle against insecurity is not lost. Martins made this known in a statement that is signed and made available to newsmen on Tuesday. He noted that the failure of the security agencies to bring corporates to book and their inability to secure their lives further may leave the people to resort to bearing arms to protect their lives and properties. Alright, President Bola Tinubu, in a statement in Abuja by his special advisor on media and publicity in Galilee, condemned the attacks and ordered a manhunt for the killers. While condoling with the government and the people of Plateau State, Tinubu assured Nigerians that these envoys of death, pain and sorrow will not escape justice. How herdsmen caught my arm. 60-year-old Gombe gate man saying his own side of the story. Bad one, painful one anyway. The only time he could remember, the only time, that's according to him now, the only time I remember I don't have my arms is when I'm at my duty post, opening the gates for survival as security man, says 60-year-old Bello Adamu Abubakar, who is an example of when life throws you a lemon, make lemonade from it. Adamu Abubakar is a husband to one wife and father of 5 children and operates as a gateman around the government reserve area in Gombe State. Adamu Abubakar noted that despite his faith, he has refused to allow his current situation to deter him from living a normal lifestyle or make him useless, redundant, and totally incapable. That is coming from Adamu. Yes, incapacitated. If you look at it, how herdsmen caught my arm. 60-year-old Gombe gate man, and he has said he has continued to move on with life with his present situation. He said, that's according to him, he has refused to allow his current situation to deter him from living a normal lifestyle or make him useless, redundant, and totally incapacitated. Coming from Adamu. Painful one anyway, and a bad one there, but we just pray God will continue to take control. If we look at this, Shaibu kicks as Edo PDP leaders endorse Ihadalo. We will take a look at this story as well. The deputy governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, has faulted Monday's meeting of the People's Democratic Party leaders in Edo North, where they endorsed a former Sterling Bank chairman, also in Dalalo, as their preferred PDP governorship candidate. right, thank you this morning. Yarugundaade has joined us in the studio for some analysis as per the top stories we have in this morning. And don't forget that we've looked at some stories as we are able to take them, reaching us on our decks. Don't forget, we've talked about some issues affecting the nation. We had looked at both accident claims 20 in Rivers State. We've also talked about chieftaincy title, Uba slams Soludo for suspending monarch. And also we've talked about Betta Edu, Afenifere demands thorough probe. And this federal government must identify those behind Plateau killings, Catholic Archbishop. And also we've informed you how S-Men caught my arms. 60-year-old Gombe Gitman has made his own story known to the society. But again, because Yarugundaade is in the studio, I know he wants to talk about the latest about Betty Edo, who has been suspended, and now Afenifere demands thorough probe. Wait, I will bring in Yarugundaade. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, let's look at it really, because I know you have one or two things to say. Corruption in Nigeria, how do we survive this? Betta Edo, one-time minister before she's been suspended, but we may not be able to tell for now. Maybe she's still going back to the office because the report says she has been suspended, so she's likely to be called back if found not guilty anyway. But Afenifere has demanded for thorough probe. Maybe I will take that again. The Yoruba social political group Afenifere has called on President Bola Tinubu not to spare anyone in the probe of the financial dealings in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. This is in the wake of the suspension of Monday of Betta Edo as minister over the alleged 585 million scandal. The suspended minister was said to have asked that the fund meant for payment of grants to vulnerable groups in Akwa Ibom, Lagos, Cross River and Ogun State be paid into a private account. Edo's predecessor, Shadia Farouk, is also under probe for allegedly laundering over 37 billion naira during her tenure in office through her contractor, James Okwiti. Now, let's look at this. Afenifere demanding for thorough probe as per the case of Betta Edo as well as Shadia Farouk.
Then I want to start with the fact that the suspension of Betta Edo is a welcome development. The suspension is the best that could have happened under this administration, and I want to associate with Afenifere that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should go for a thorough investigation to look into the case, because this is a case of corruption, and one of the challenges, one of the problems, if not the greatest problem of this country, is the problem of corruption, and that is why we are where we are today. Can you see a situation, a whole Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, disaster management, now engaging in corruption, money that is meant for the vulnerable, money that is meant for the poor of the poor, money for the people that are meant for, is being allegedly tampered with by a minister in charge of that particular ministry. And therefore, I want to associate with the Afenifere in demanding for thorough investigation. The thorough investigation means that the investigation should not be limited to Betta Edo alone. The investigation should further throw the dragnet to all ministries, departments, and agencies. Because don't forget, the genesis of this was that there was a leaked memo. There was a leaked memo that exposed all these things, and the Accountant General of the Federation refused to obey that kind of thing because it is against financial regulation. I myself, I retired from the public service. I know it is illegal to transfer government money into a private account. So that means there is probability that it is not only Betta Edo that is involved. There is probability that this kind of thing must have been happening in other ministry, departments, and agencies. So that is where the investigation to throw their dragnet to and pick up anybody and whoever highly positioned that kind of person is. So it's a welcome development because it is even satanic. It is sinful. It is ungodly. Money meant for the poor people, money meant for the vulnerable, to have been tampered with. That means these people are the poor of the poor in the society. So let EFCC do proper investigation. And I want to go further, that the EFCC should also get the services of brilliant lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria, to prosecute these cases in court, because these kind of people, high profile cases, they have the financial wherewithal that they can get the services of senior advocate of Nigeria that can throw cases out in court under technicalities. So EFCC should get prepared watertight investigation. watertight prosecution with brilliant lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria. This is where the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should make sure that they empower EFCC very well, they empower ICPC very well, and make scapegoats of anybody involved in tampering with the Commonwealth of Nigeria. Nigeria is in dire crisis. There is poverty in the land. Things are not moving on fine. And one minister somewhere tampering allegedly with the money. Don't forget that this Betta Edu was a commissioner for health in Cross River State. This Betta Edu was the APC women leader, national women leader. So he is a powerful woman. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not allow anybody, however powerful that person may be, to influence him. And that is why I give kudos to him that she was not allowed. There was a news item. She was not allowed to Aso Rock. That is good. But the federal government should not just make, because in Nigeria when cases are like this, within 2-3 weeks it is off and the person will be recalled back. We don't want that. We don't want that. Let this be a serious warning to anybody. Not only the federal government, the state governors also should do the same thing. The local government should do the same thing. Even it should be extended to all other agencies of government and parastatals.
Now we'll take a similar story because we are still talking about corruption. Let's look at the NDDC case. Board member laments 953 abandoned NDDC projects in Rivers State. The Rivers State representative on the management board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Chief Tony Okocha, has disclosed that a total of 953 abandoned projects of the commission are listed across the state. Okocha stated this in Port Harcourt, that was yesterday, during an interactive session with members of the Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers. While expressing worry about the number of abandoned projects, he said it was the more reason he and his team had begun work in earnest to correct some of the anomalies, saying he would have a scorecard to present at the end of his tenure. Over 900 projects being abandoned, 953. When you look at it, really, somebody commissioned some of these projects that for commencement. Let me put it that way, that the project work should start. But along the line, some will be abandoned, and along the line, some may not even be attended to. Even some who want to agree or read reports that will tell us some the financial aspect of it has been concluded. But let's see abandoned projects in Nigeria. How do you describe this?
That is another angle of corruption. When projects will be allegedly commissioned and the project have not been completed, how can a government official at the level, high level, either at the ministerial level, at the governorship level, at the presidential level, commissioning a project or commissioning projects that have not been completed, and the project remain the same as it was? That it is just too unfortunate. It is just too bad. It is another angle to corruption. It is another corruption. And that is why I said the moment Nigerians solve the problem of corruption, our problem in Nigeria will be absolutely solved. Let's take the case of NDDC. Yes. NDDC was established to take care of the states in the Niger Delta area because of the pollution, because this is the area we get our oil, and because of that oil it has been polluted. Most of the citizens there, those that are engaging in fishing, they can't fish. There is no water, the infrastructures are not good, the hospitals are not working, most of the youths are unemployed, and that was the vision of NDDC, and that was why some amount of money has been budgeted with the NDDC, and some smart people decided to either not start a project or start a project and not completed, and it has been abandoned and nothing happens. That is what I can call impunity. So the moment government steps into the matter and stop this impunity in handling government affairs by charging those people to court, the contractors should be arrested and they should be charged to court. The officials of NDDC that must approve that particular project has been completed when it was not completed, the officials of NDDC, either at the level of career officials or the politicians, the political office holders, should be arrested. The government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be ready to step on toes.
That is it.
It should be ready to step on toes because these people in NDDC, they are there, and unfortunately, most of them are indigenous of the area. and most of the contractors are also Nigerians. So the only solution to it is to get them arrested, charge them to court, punish them according to the law, so that it will act as deterrent. But if it is not done, then it will be business as usual. And it is very unfortunate because it is the common people that are suffering.
And when you look at some countries, especially in Asia continent, you discover that execution will follow, because once a contractor is being found guilty, then the next thing to get such person executed.
In our statute law in Nigeria, if a person is found culpable, you seize the property. The property belongs to the state. The property belongs to the government. The property, all the assets, all the financial assets of that person belongs, and the person will be thrown to jail, maybe life imprisonment, and there should be no prerogative of mercy for those kind of people. But because the way we play our politics, the way we play our politicking, by the time you see some godfathers, godmothers, you belong to this party, you belong to that party. It is in Nigeria that I could see political parties without ideology. So if you want to escape from any punishment, just decamp from, I won't mention any party, just decamp from one party to another. Just the moment you decamp, they say your sins are forgiven. I mean, just unfortunate, impunity everywhere. And these are the people that will go outside and be oppressing people. And these are the people that will be given chieftaincy titles by some traditional rulers. These are the people that will become chieftaincy office holders in the church. These are the people that will be celebrated and between Thanksgiving in churches and mosques. The moment we need to reorientate ourselves. Part of the punishment for anybody that has engaged in corruption is to ostracize that person, is to make that person not relevant again. It's not to recognize that person. But unfortunately, it is the same set of people that common Nigeria will be saying, it is just so unfortunate.
But you look at it now, President Tinubu has decided to cut expenses, what they expected. I mean, politicians now. How will you describe this?
Well, that is why I'm saying I want to commend Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing that. And this is what I've been saying for praise singers. It is not good to praise sing. People like us, when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu took very large entourage to Dubai, we criticize it. So I thank him for listening to people like us. And that is why I want to appeal to some people who are praise singers. Even some journalists are praise singers. Yes. I could see some journalists, they are praise singers. I belong to some platform where some journalists have nothing to report again than praising politicians. It is not good. We need to go into investigative journalism. We need to put government on toes. It is then that government will listen. Now I want to commend Asiwaju Tinubu for listening to us by reducing by 60% entourage on traveling from the presidency to the to MDA, ministry, department, agencies, and even office of the first lady, office of the wife of the vice president, everything. And I hope, that's another thing again, I hope it is not just a propaganda. Yeah. In other words, after some few months, 3-4 months, it will return back again, because Muhammadu Buhari also did the same thing. He even said people should not go on medical tourism, but Muhammadu Buhari was the first person to go on medical tourism. So I hope Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will remain with it and make sure the cost of governance, because the vision behind it is to reduce the cost of governance. The cost of governance is humongous. It's humongous, because when you are traveling, you go with extra code, you go with hotel bill, and people are suffering. Things are not good. There is poverty in the land. There is poverty in the land. So there is need to do that. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should extend it to also reducing the number of ministers. There is not, the constitution says every state you have a minister. So if we have federal capital territory, make it 37. So there is no need we have more than 37 ministers. Ditto in every state. The governors in every state should also cut the cost of governance. There is no need governors of state will continue to appoint many special advisors, many special assistants, many this, many that, when gratuity of pensioners have not been paid, when salaries of workers have never been paid, when the government are owing arrears of salary to workers, when most of the government establishments are not yet motivated, when agencies are not working in a conducive environment, you are employing appointing special assistant to special. In fact, let me tell you, it is only in Nigeria that we get personal assistant to another personal assistant, special assistant to special assistant to personal assistant, and they will have offices, they will have cars, and you know the nation of Nigeria, they will like to live in a, they will have their own security, they will pretend with starch their dresses, moving here and there at the expenses of the state, and the workers will be suffering. It is unfortunate. Unfortunately, the Nigerian people even don't get themselves right too. They will be praising them. And when it is the time of election under the Boko Sebe, they will also vote for the same set of people that is oppressing them.
Yes, Darugundade is in the house. The program is Issues in the News on 91.5 Ekiti FM. Maybe we'll leave that of corruption, Darugundade. Our federal government must identify those behind Plateau killing security now. Catholic Archbishop, the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Alfred Martins, has urged the federal government to identify the perpetrators and sponsors of the recent killings in Plateau State and other parts of the country. He said President Bola Tinubu's action against the evildoers would prove that they are not being shielded and show that the battle against insecurity is not lost. How do you look at this? Killings in Plateau State, the Archbishop of Catholic, I'm talking about Archbishop of Catholic in Lagos, Most Reverend Alfred Martins, has called on the federal government. Those behind the killings in Plateau State must be brought to book.
That is the problem of this country. Since the time of Jonathan, you realize that this insecurity started seriously. Then getting to Muhammadu Buhari administration, it became so serious. Now with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it is still serious. Insecurity in Zamfara, insecurity in the northwest, in the northeast, in the north central, in the southwest, in the north, in the south, even in the southeast, even in the southwest. So you will ask me, why are we not having solution to this problem? One of it was what that bishop was saying. When you catch some people, when some people are caught, what do you do with them? You have to take them to the court and let the due process of law take its course. And if the due process of the law take its course, so many of these people, anybody found of murder must have been killed now or hanged now. Anybody found of terrorism will be charged to terrorism, and the punishment will be there. And when these criminals, when they know that there are punishments to everything they have done, they will desist from it. But unfortunately, as far as this country is concerned, my brother, how many people have been caught? How many people have been charged? How many people have been punished? You will find out that nobody. That means they are powerful toes. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be ready to step on toes. That is number one. Number two, they should make sure that they provide fighting terrorists. Fighting bandits is not a conventional war. Yeah. It is a war that is fought on technology. So there should be need for the governors of these states to make use of their security votes, together with the federal government, and buy technological equipment like drones, like communication gadgets, like helicopters, to act as surveillance on these forests, so that they will be able to identify these miscreants, these criminals. I usually say that these miscreants, these criminals, they are human beings.
They are human beings, sir.
They are not Inwe. I said it in your back program. They are not Inwe in Igbo Irumole. They are human beings. They live somewhere, and this is where intelligence also come. The local government should be independent. Unfortunately, the local government is not independent. Local governments in Nigeria, where they gather information, the informant gather information, pass it to the security agencies, it becomes intelligence. It is on the basis of the intelligence that the security apparatus will be able to work and catch all these people. But unfortunately, it has not been so. So it is not the situation of telling chief of army staff, chief of air staff, chief of naval staff to go somewhere, DIG, AIG relocate. It doesn't solve matter. Yeah. The matter is fundamental. That is just it.
And that is where some were thinking that state police may likely help in a situation like this. Do you buy the idea of state police?
Initially, I key into the idea of state policing, even local government policing, where the police will be at the grassroots. We'll be able to gather information, not just somebody from Nasarawa to come to Ekiti and be policing Ekiti. He will not be able to know Ekiti. because he will not know the geography of Ekiti, the language of Ekiti, the history of Ekiti. But post an Ekiti man under a community police to police Ekiti, he will know the geography of the environment.
Yes.
My brother, do you know you can from Efon, you can get to Akure without passing the road? It is only an Ekiti man that will know the geography. Do you know Olota Hill in Odoado? Do you know through Olota Hill you can get to Ikere Ekiti? It is only the Ekiti man who know the geography of the environment. Do you know in my town is the border down to Osun State? Do you know you can get to Osogbo without passing through all the routes from my town? I don't want to mention my town for strategic reasons.
Yes.
Although I know people know it, but I don't want to mention it because I'm talking security matters.
And that's why I don't want to ask.
Yes, don't ask. So all this is because you know the geography of the environment, and that is where community policing really work. Then even the language, because language matters a lot. If criminals are talking and they are speaking in a language that you understand, you will be able to know. For example, I know how to speak Ekiti dialect.
Yes.
Even Ekiti dialect has so many variations. The Mamba Ekiti is not the same thing with another Ekiti. It is not the same thing with Ikere Ekiti. Ikere dialect is very similar to Akure. So if I speak my own dialect now, you may not, the original dialect of my community, you may not know. But if I'm asked to police my community, and there are some criminals in that area who are natives of that area, I'll be able to detect them easily. So these are the advantages of community policing. However, the state governors, there should be a mechanism to control the community policing.
Yeah.
So that the state governor will not abuse it. Because we have seen instances where some state governor usually can easily abuse the security order that control.
Especially during election.
Especially during election. So that is my only fear. So when we are talking of devolution of power to state, I support it, but my fear is about some governors that their power may unnecessarily be so wide. We are seeing governors in this country that have almost become an emperor, which is very unfortunate. So if you add police to that governor, he become a super emperor. So there should be a mechanism by which, if we have a community policing, state policing.
Alright, thanks for being there. Still your lovely program, Issues in the News. We have to release that Rugudade, but then for the short moment we're having, we know for those who have been able to follow us, 08065 226145, the number to call. I'll read out the number once again, 08065 226145 is the number to call. But let me take this story quickly. Lecturers, parents reject drug test for Bauchi Varsity students. Parents of the over 10,000 students of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, have kicked against the compulsory toxicology tests that their children have been scheduled to undertake upon their resumption for the next academic section. Beside the test, the students are individually expected to sign a form titled Oath of Good Character and Compliance, attach the same with the test result, and submit to the management upon resumption. We'll take this on Edo State. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shabu, has faulted Monday's meeting of the People's Democratic Party leaders in Edo North, where they endorsed a former Sterling Bank chairman, Asue Igodalo, as their preferred PDP governorship candidate. The meeting was at the instance of a former Deputy Governor of the state, Chief Mike Oladomian, and had in attendance many party heavyweights. The meeting, which was held in Oladomian's residence in Fuga, had in attendance the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Blessing Agbebaku, former Senator Jisa Bremo, former House of Representatives member Johnson Abolagba, and a former House of Assembly Speaker Kabiru Ajoto. Okay, we'll see take some other story. Kogi lawmakers lament rising kidnap robbery cases. This coming from Kogi State. The Kogi State House of Assembly has expressed grave concern over the spate of insecurity challenges being experienced across the state, even as it confirmed the kidnapping of 6 persons in the Yagba East local government area of the state under 3 weeks. The member representing Yagba East in the Kogi State House of Assembly, Emmanuel Obaro, disclosed this on Tuesday when he moved a motion of urgent public importance on the floor of the House in Lokoja. Obaro, who could not ascertain whether the kidnapped victims have regained their freedom, bemoaned the alarming issue of kidnapping and armed robbery, which he said were fast spreading within his constituency and creating ripples of effects that could harm individuals, families, and engulf the entire environment with fear and uncertainty, especially across the various communities in the Yagba East local government area. That is coming from Kogi State. Kogi lawmakers lament rising kidnap robbery cases. Take this coming from Kaduna Abuja Expressway. No fewer than 85 persons comprising both travelers and residents were said to have been abducted by terrorists at Katari along the Kaduna Abuja highways near Katari in the Kachala local government area of Kaduna State. It was also gathered that more than 4 residents were killed by the hoodlums. The breakdown of those abducted by the bloodthirsty terrorists indicated that between Thursday and Sunday, January 7, 2024, a total of 85 persons were abducted. The Kaduna State Police Command confirmed that there was a bandit attack on the Kaduna Abuja Expressway at Dogon Fili near Katari. However, the command was silent on the abduction of the travelers along the Kaduna Abuja Expressway. The command's public relations officer, Mensaru Azan, stated that security operatives battled the terrorists before they fled in different directions. The police spokesman noted that in the process, some travelers were caught in the crossfire and they sustained varying degrees of gunshot injuries. Or we'll take this coming from Lagos State. Lagos promises improved school feeding program. The Lagos State government on Tuesday said it would upscale its feeding program in public schools across the state to boost people's welfare, improve attendance, and reduce the menace of out-of-school children in the state. The State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Jamiu Ali Balogun, stated this during his visit to some schools to monitor second-term resumption for the 2023-2024 academic session. Ali Balogun, according to a statement by the ministry, assured the people that the state government would deploy its resources for the safety of students and staff in the new year, while urging teaching and non-teaching staff and students to make 2024 count for excellent performance. We'll still need to go back to bandit story. This coming from Zamfara. Bandits have abducted a director in the Zamfara State Ministry of Finance, Madam Sabio, his wife and children. A resident of the area, Ahalu Garba, said the bandits broke into Sabio's house in Damba Housing Estate, Guzau, around 1:30 in the morning. According to him, the bandits, who were armed with sophisticated weapons, went straight to Sabio's house on arrival in the community as if they were acting on a directive. If you look at that, bandits kidnapped Zamfara finance director, wife, children. Take this now, coming from Osun State. Adeleke orders probe of 200 million naira fraud in Osun College. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has directed an investigation into the allegations of financial mismanagement rocking the State College of Education in Laorogun. It was alleged that a sum of 200 million naira had been mismanaged under the current governing council of the college, led by Dr. Peter Babalola, about 5 months after the assumption of office. In reaction to the allegation, Adeleke, in a statement by a spokesperson, Olawale Rasheed, said he had directed that his chief of staff, Mr. Kazim Akinleye, should lead a committee to investigate the matter. Let's warn troublemakers ahead of Kano by-elections. The Kano State Police Command has warned criminals and troublemakers to stay clear of the upcoming by-election in 66 polling units across 6 local government areas of the state. This was as the Independent National Electoral Commission, at a briefing in Kano on Tuesday, said it was ready for the polls slated for February 3. Speaking at INEC headquarters in Kano, the state resident electoral commissioner Abdul Zango said the by-election will take place in Kunchel, Zanjawa, Kura Garen Malam, and Rimi Gado Tofa local government areas. Let's warn troublemakers ahead of Kano by-election. Okay, we'll take this coming from Enugu State. Army Chief Miss Enugu Governor promises more troops. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, has promised more military presence in Enugu State to tackle insecurity, especially in the Izuzo local government area of the state. The Army Chief gave the assurance on Tuesday when he paid a courtesy visit to Governor Peter Mba at the government house in Enugu. The Chief of Army Staff was in the state on an operational visit to 82 Division of the Nigerian Army. Lagbaja, who made the promise while responding to Mba's request for the military to build a military barracks in the Izi Uzo local government area, said the desire of the Nigerian Army aligned perfectly with that of the government and the good people of Enugu State to rid this society of criminal elements. Let's take this before we close the program. Sorry, we may not be able to pick calls this morning, but I want to assure you the next edition we should have opportunity of picking calls. Police parade 3 suspects linked to Plateau killings. The Nigerian Police Force Intelligence Department tactical team, I beg your pardon, tactical teams, yes, on Tuesday paraded 67 suspected. Yes, the Nigerian Police Force Intelligence Department tactical teams on Tuesday paraded 67 suspects arrested for various crimes ranging from kidnapping and gun running, one chance robbery, armed robbery, and banditry across the country. Among the paraded suspects were 3 arrested in connection with the Christmas Eve attack on 15 Plateau State villages, in which over 150 persons were killed and about 221 houses razed, leading to the displacement of over 10,000 residents. There you look at that place parade 3 suspects linked to Plateau killings. That's the size of the program this morning. We love you for being there, and we want to say a very big thank you to Elder Ayo Arugundade, who had been our guest, but then we had to release him for one or two reasons. But don't worry. On Friday, the program will return. Issues in the news, and when we come, we'll make it bigger. Then we'll be able to receive calls. Thanks for being there. My name is Oluwasola Kende, your anchor. Until I come your way, God willing, do have a pleasant time.